Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Israel's decision to expand military operations in Gaza, deeply alarming, says the UN, as Netanyahu's security cabinet approves complete control of Gaza. Xi Jinping welcomes renewed U.S. Russia dialogue in a phone call with Putin amid Trump's push to end Ukraine war. And India's cabinet approves 30,000 crore rupees compensation for oil marketing companies to cover domestic LPG sale losses. Also continues 12,000 crore rupees subsidies for household cooking gas. Let's begin with an update on the Gaza crisis. And Israel's political security cabinet has approved a plan to take control of Gaza City early on Friday. Now, this approval came hours after the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel intended to take military control of the entire strip. Netanyahu's office in a statement said that the IDF will prepare to take control of Gaza City while providing humanitarian aid to the civilian population outside the combat zones. Now, the Security Cabinet, by a majority vote, had adopted 5 principles for concluding the conflict. These principles include disarming of Hamas, the return of all hostages, living and dead, and the demilitarization of the Gaza Strip. Also, Israeli security control in the Gaza Strip and the establishment of an alternative civil administration that is neither Hamas nor the Palestinian Authority. And in response to Israel's decision, the United Nations has said that any decision to expand Israel's military operations in Gaza any decision is deeply alarming. The spokesperson of the United Nations in Geneva said that the UN stands firmly against any escalation of the conflict.
Any decision to expand Israel's military operations in Gaza are deeply alarming. And obviously, it is clear that this would risk catastrophic consequences for millions of Palestinians and could further endanger the lives of the remaining hostages in Gaza. It has to be really clear. We really stand firmly on any escalation of the conflict.
The UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Friday termed Israel's decision to take control of Gaza City as wrong. Additionally, Starmer urged the Israeli government to reconsider its decision to further escalate the offensive in Gaza. In a statement, the UK Prime Minister said that this action will do nothing to bring an end to the conflict, nor will it help secure the release of the hostages and it's going to bring more bloodshed, is what he said. The German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has said that his government will not approve any exports of military equipment that could be used in the Gaza Strip until further notice. Merz also said that it was Israel's right to disarm Hamas and to seek the release of the Israeli hostages. The German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has also announced a halt in exports of military equipment that could be used in Gaza, a move signaling a sharp shift in Berlin's stance towards its longtime ally, Israel. Citing the growing suffering, the human suffering in Gaza, Merz, in fact, has stressed that while Israel has the right to disarm Hamas and secure the release of its hostages, its planned military expansion makes it harder to see how those goals can be achieved. President Xi Jinping of China has told his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin in a phone call on Friday that China is pleased to see Moscow and Washington improving their relations. The Chinese state broadcaster CCTV reported that Xi Jinping had talked to Putin on Friday at the Russian leader's request. Putin briefed Xi on the situation of the recent contact and communications between the United States and Russia, as well as the situation in Ukraine. The call came after the Kremlin said on Thursday that Putin would meet U.S. President Donald Trump in the coming days. in a search for an end to the war, now in its fourth year. Friday's call between Xi and Putin was their second in less than 2 months. Putin and the U.S. President Donald Trump are set to hold talks in a bid to end the conflict in Ukraine. The deadline of the U.S. President Donald Trump's ultimatum to Russia expires on Friday. Uncertainty looms over a possible Putin-Trump summit next week. Trump has threatened new sanctions against Russia, and he continues, and the countries, in fact, that are buying exports from Russia, unless the Russian President Putin agrees to end the now conflict, which is in its fourth year. Ukraine and Europe, their leaders, have insisted that any peace deal must include Europe and also protect Kiev's interests. Meanwhile, Putin on Friday chaired a meeting with the members of Russia's Security Council on regional security issues. This meeting took place amid news of a meeting between Putin and the U.S. President Donald Trump next week. The leaders are expected to discuss the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. The much-awaited Armenia-Azerbaijan peace treaty is set to take place in the White House on Friday. The leaders of both countries, Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and the Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, they are going to meet Trump at the White House for talks and probably the signing of a treaty. Now, this truce deal may in fact have many positive impacts, including the development of the exclusive U.S. development rights in the strategic transit corridor through the South Caucasus. In fact, both countries have been at crossroads since late 1980s after the Nagorno-Karabakh split, and that is from Azerbaijan, resulting in a long-term ethnic and border issue. The U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance will begin his UK visit on Friday with talks with the British Foreign Secretary David Lammy. Vance, accompanied by his wife Usha and their 3 children, will stay with Lammy at the Foreign Minister's country residence, Chevening. And this trip comes amid heightened transatlantic tensions, shifting political landscapes in both nations, and growing scrutiny of Vance's foreign policy stance as he cements his role as Donald Trump's heir apparent, some would say. Now, over to Europe, where a new problem seems to be brewing, silently in the background, that is. Germans are leaving Germany in large numbers. Last year, in fact, the number was particularly high. Over 200,000 citizens had left. What's driving them away? Where are they going? What's happening? For more on this, let's talk to DW correspondent Warda Imran. She's joining us from Berlin. Warda, what's the cause of concern here?
Thanks for having me. Absolutely, this is a cause for concern in this country, which is already facing a demographic challenge. Its current workforce is going to be retiring soon. And while Berlin is consistently looking to attract more skilled workers to the country, there's no denying that there's a strong outflow of people leaving as well. 270,000 German citizens left this country in 2024. That's what official government numbers show. And this number is almost double the amount of Germans recorded leaving 15 years ago. So this trend is definitely disturbing. And other studies show that it's not necessarily old people that are making the move, let's say, out of retirement. It's likely that majority of the emigrants are between the ages of 25 and 50 years old. So basically, that prime age that every country needs.
Warda, also, how can the government make the country more attractive again?
Well, I think that's by making things more affordable, more attractive. Berlin, as a capital city, is becoming more and more expensive each day to live. Traditionally, Berlin is known as one of the cheapest European capitals. This is not the case anymore. Rents are climbing high, inflation is biting low-income groups, and a new study found that only 1 in every 4 apartments here is affordable for a person earning an average income. We also are seeing social benefits being cut by the government, and this makes the country less attractive. You know, in Berlin, free museum tickets on Sunday has been such a, it's been such a big tradition here, and now it's been cancelled by this government. And other benefits like subsidized tickets, transport tickets, may be getting the axe soon. All this makes it hard on a social level to survive in Germany. So I think the country will have to prioritize citizens prioritize jobs. There are still many unemployed people all over Germany that are looking for opportunities. But it seems the government's current agenda is thinking of defense, exports, tariffs, cars. But their most important asset, people, might slip away.
Warda Imran, thanks very much for joining us. And moving on to our next story, Malaysia, as the ASEAN chair, will lead a regional delegation to Myanmar next month following the junta's scrapping of its state of emergency, the Foreign Minister Mohammed Hassan said on Friday. And this visit is likely on September the 19th. And it's going to include the foreign ministers of Indonesia, Thailand and the Philippines. This move comes as this bloc, it's struggling to end Myanmar's ongoing bloodshed, which erupted after the military ousted the elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi in February of 2021, sparking a multi-front civil war. ASEAN has barred the junta leaders from its summits, but has seen little success in its peace push. And firefighters have brought under control a wind-driven wildfire near the southern Spanish tourist town of Tarifa that has forced the evacuation of more than 1,500 people. This blaze broke out on Tuesday in La Paya, which is a wooded area near a beach outside Tarifa, a coastal town of about 19,000 residents known for its strong winds that attract windsurfers. Authorities said that the fire started in a camper van at a campsite and it quickly spread in the gusty conditions that prevailed then. About 1,550 people, about 5,000 vehicles were evacuated from the campsites, hotels and homes as well. And residents and tourists were allowed to return on Wednesday after the fire was declared stabilized. While the flames have been contained, firefighting crews will remain in the area in the coming days. This is to secure the perimeter and prevent flare-ups. Let's take a look at some other stories making news from around the world. In Thailand, one of the top art galleries, after China's request, removed materials about Beijing's treatment of ethnic minorities, and Hong Kong from an exhibit. The Bangkok Arts and Cultural Center changed multiple works by artists in exile in the exhibit on authoritarian governments collaborating across borders. In Britain, dozens of hot air balloons filled the sky during the annual Bristol International Balloon Fiesta. The event featured a spectacular mass launch with over 100 hot air balloons taking flight. Held over 3 days, the fiesta includes launches at both dawn and dusk, creating stunning scenes across the Bristol skyline. Beijing is gearing up to host the world's first humanoid robot games, starting this month. Officials announced that 280 teams will bring more than 500 humanoid robots from 127 brands to compete. The event will feature 26 contests testing the robots' speed, their agility, their intelligence as well, and versatility. Still to come here on DD India Live, India's Home Minister Amit Shah lays the foundation stone for the Janki Temple revamp in Bihar's Sitamarhi district. And around 566 people have been rescued from the flood-hit Uttarkashi district in India's Uttarakhand.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Mark Lynn. India's Information and Broadcasting Minister Ashwini Vaishnav briefed media after the cabinet meeting chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday. The minister announced that cabinet has approved the continuation of targeted subsidy for Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana consumers for 2025-26 at 12,000 crore rupees.
जब 2016 में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने उज्ज्वला योजना लॉन्च की थी, तब भावना इसमें अंत्योदय की भावना थी। जो गरीब से गरीब व्यक्ति है उनके जीवन में बड़ा परिवर्तन आए और बहनों माओं के जीवन में एक ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में बहुत बड़ा परिवर्तन आए। यानी 10 करोड़ 33 लाख घरों में उज्ज्वला के कारण परिवर्तन आया। करीब 2200 रुपए की टोटल सपोर्ट मिलता है इस स्कीम में। तो आज कैबिनेट में फैसला लिया गया 12,060 करोड़ रुपए का सपोर्ट पीएम उज्ज्वला बेनिफिशियरीज के लिए 2025-26 फाइनेंशियल ईयर में दिया जाएगा। अब तक अगर हम देखें टोटल उज्ज्वला योजना में 52,000 करोड़ रुपए का बेनिफिट देश में लाखों करोड़ों परिवारों को मिल चुका है इसका।
The Union Minister also said that the Cabinet has approved a substantial 30,000 crore rupee subsidy for public sector oil marketing companies to cover domestic LPG sale losses.
हमारे मिडिल क्लास परिवारों में एलपीजी गैस अफोर्डेबल रहे, कम से कम दाम पे मिले, उसके लिए 30,000 करोड़ रुपए की सब्सिडी आज अप्रूव हुई है, जो सीधा हमारे एलपीजी हमारे मध्यम वर्गीय परिवारों के बेनिफिट में जाएगी।
Further, the Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said that the Cabinet has approved the budgetary support for multidisciplinary education and research improvement in technical education. It's a scheme called Merit, and this has an outlay of 4,200 crore rupees.
कि राज्य सरकारों के जो टेक्निकल एजुकेशन के इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, उनको सपोर्ट करना, उसमें ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन लाना, उसके लिए 4,200 करोड़ रुपए का एक प्रोग्राम सैंक्शन हुआ है। जो राज्य सरकारों के टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, उनमें गुणवत्ता कैसे आए, क्वालिटी कैसे आए, कैसे इंप्रूवमेंट आए, तो 175 इंजीनियरिंग इंस्टीट्यूशंस एंड 100 पॉलिटेक्निक्स देश भर में, जिसमें करीब 7.5 लाख स्टूडेंट्स एंड 13,000 फैकल्टी मेंबर्स को बेनिफिट मिलेगा, उसके लिए ये प्रोग्राम बनाया है।
In fact, I think it's pronounced me right. Now moving on to our next story. Proceedings of both houses of Parliament today, they were disturbed by the opposition parties, a protest over the issue of the special intensive revision exercise that's taking place in Bihar, leading to the adjournment of the House. The Lok Sabha faced two adjournments, and it had convened at 11 in the morning and finally reconvened again at 3 p.m. However, it was adjourned within 5 minutes because of the continuous protests and uproar by the opposition benches. In the Rajya Sabha, it was adjourned till 11 a.m. on Monday because the Parliament had reconvened next week. It's reconvened next week, and attention will now turn to whether the opposition and the government can actually find common ground to restore order and resume the legislative business. India's Home Minister Amit Shah laid the foundation stone for the redevelopment of the Mata Janaki temple at Punora Dham, which is in Bihar Sitamarhi district. It's believed to be the birthplace of goddess Sita. This temple it's going to be developed on the lines of a grand temple, the grand temple of Ayodhya, the Ram temple. And so the Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and also other union ministers were present. The Bihar State Tourism Development Corporation is going to be implementing this project. Meanwhile, in a boost to connectivity, India's Home Minister Amit Shah and the Chief Minister of Bihar, Nitish Kumar, they flagged off the Amrit Bharat Express. This was from Sitamarhi to New Delhi. GEM, or the Government E-Marketplace. It's celebrating a decade of its existence of digital equity and efficiency. And during this, the CEO of GEM has spoken about how this portal has become India's most trusted digital procurement platform, empowering sellers as well as service providers.
GEM has been able to work on the idea of inclusivity and access and the empowerment of the micro and small enterprises. We have been able to achieve a target of 37%, which is much beyond the given target of 25% through the portal. So I'm very happy about it.
The next updates are from the disaster that struck Dharali region in India's hilly state of Uttarakhand. The Chief Minister there, Pushkar Singh Dhami, has been at the forefront of the rescue operations for the last 3 days. The Chief Minister has been inspecting the relief and rescue operations in the region. He's met with the victims and he's also assured them of all the help from the government. Now, on the instructions of the state government, immediate relief and rescue operations were started in the disaster-affected areas. The Chief Minister reiterated that the state government is working with full commitment for relief, rehabilitation and reconstruction.
धराली नगर था, पूरा का पूरा आपदा की भेंट चढ़ गया और ऐसे अनेक रास्ते, अनेक पुल, यहाँ के भवन, होटल, होम स्टे, मकान जो भी थे, सब जो है इस प्रलय में बिल्कुल समाप्त हो गए। लोग परेशान हैं, उन्होंने अपने किसी परिजनों को खोया है। मैं आया हूँ आज उनको भरोसा दिलाने के लिए कि जल्दी ही हम सभी व्यवस्थाओं को यहाँ पर व्यवस्थित करेंगे।
Meanwhile, the Indian Armed Forces are working tirelessly to provide food and relief materials in areas affected by the tragic cloudburst incident in Dharali district. Over 566 people have been evacuated till noon on Friday, braving harsh weather and rugged terrain. The Indian Army, their teams are continuously engaging in restoring connectivity as well, in evacuating residents and tourists, while also providing medical support, and they are delivering essential aid. So the presence of senior military commanders has enabled seamless coordination with the SDRF, with the ITBP, the local administration and the civil authorities. They are ensuring swift and effective humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. Road connectivity in the region is affected in a big way by these landslides. The NDRF teams, along with the SDRF, they are working continuously to restore a broken bridge. They are using ropes now, and the government vehicles are also being used to move passengers to safer places. Raksha Bandhan, that's the festival of brother and sister bond, is to be celebrated on Saturday throughout the country. It's considered an important festival symbolizing love, affection and trust. And on this festival, sisters tie a rakhi on the hands of their brothers, on the wrists. They pray for their long life. Raksha Bandhan creates a bond of love between siblings. In return, brothers vow to protect their sisters even at the cost of their own lives. So according to the Hindu calendar, this festival takes place on the full moon day of the month of Shravan. And the month of Shravan ends and the month of Bhadrapada begins with Raksha Bandhan. Time now for the sports news, and the classical tournament at the Chennai Grandmasters, the Chennai Grandmasters tournament in chess we're talking about, has kicked off with a strong performance from world number 5, Arjun Erigaisi, and the German Grandmaster Vincent Kmar. Erigaisi delivered a commanding victory over the American Grandmaster Evander Liang, while Kmar showcased impeccable technique to overcome India's Nihal Sareen. Now, one of the tournament's highlights is the highly anticipated all-Chennai clash between Grandmasters Pranav V and Karthikeyan Murli, and it concluded in a well-fought draw, while all other games had ended in draws. The second round is underway, featuring exciting pairings. Karthikeyan Murli is facing Evander Liang, and Jordan Van Forest is pitted against Arjun Erigaisi, and Ray Robson is taking on Vidit Gujarati. In the challenger section, top-seeded Indian Grandmasters made a strong start with Diptayan Ghosh, Leon Mendonca and M. Pranish scoring wins. Meanwhile, the woman Grandmaster Vaishali Ramesh Babu, the Grandmaster Abhimanyu Purnak and the Grandmaster Inian P settled for draws. The experienced Grandmasters Harika Dronavadi, Aryan Chopra and Harshvardhan also faced opening round losses. Harry Kane enjoyed an eventful reunion with his former club, scoring a goal. and missing a penalty in the Bayern Munich 4-0 friendly win over Tottenham Hotspur at the Allianz Arena. Bayern, in fact, had their striker Kane opened the scoring in the 12th minute following a precise long pass over the top of the defence from Michael Olise. The midfielder João Palhinha brought down Josip Stanisic in a penalty area, and the referee pointed to the spot. But Kane slipped as he approached the ball and then sent his penalty kick high over the crossbar. Kingsley Coman, Lennart Karl and Jonna Kusi Asare all found the net in the second half as Bayern stepped up preparations for the defence of their Bundesliga crown. From thrilling comebacks to history-making wins, the Canadian Open 2025 delivered drama and unforgettable tennis moments. America's Ben Shelton won the biggest title of his career, while teenager Victoria Mboko delivered the best performance of her life. Julian Cash and Lloyd Glasspool scripted doubles history, and the American stars Coco Gauff and McCartney Kessler triumphed in the women's doubles. Here's the report. In fact, we'll play you that report later on in another bulletin. For the moment, it's time to end this bulletin. Thanks for joining us on this edition of DD India Live. Let's know your thoughts as well on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. It's available on Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lynn from all of us here in Delhi. Thank you for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.